Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Useful AI Hacks. Today, we're detailing Apple's team up with Google Gemini. Why would they be doing that? Teaming up with a rival? Well, they kind of have to. We're going to go into the nuts and bolts, the reasons why. So, jump right into it right now. You see, this $5 billion 5-year deal means that they're going to be investing $1 billion, giving $1 billion to Google Gemini for use of Google Gemini in iPhone products, specifically Siri. Why is this interesting and prominent? Well, Google has all of our data. Let's face it, they know everything about us. We use their apps every single day. We have for many years, since the beginning of the internet, essentially. So, why on earth would Apple want that data? Well, it's all part of Apple's shift into what's called ambient AI. What's ambient AI? Well, let's detail it for you right now.
All right, let's get right into it. Apple is about to give Siri a full-on brain transplant. And get this, they're partnering with their biggest rival to pull it off. This isn't just some minor update, folks. We're talking a complete overhaul that could totally change how we interact with our devices forever. So let's break down what this massive deal really means for you. You know the feeling, right? We've all been there. You ask Siri something super simple, and in return, you get a link to a web search or just a flat-out, "Sorry, I don't understand." Yeah, it's been a running joke for years. But that is all about to change thanks to a move that I don't think anyone really saw coming.
Apple isn't just tweaking a few lines of code here. Oh no, they are fundamentally rebuilding Siri from the ground up by teaming up with one of their biggest competitors. And believe me, they are putting an absolutely staggering amount of money behind this. Yep, you're seeing that right. $5 billion. This is a multi-year partnership. To put that into perspective, Apple is basically paying Google about $1 billion a year to inject Siri with their seriously advanced Gemini AI. A single deal like this could completely reshape the entire AI assistant landscape. Okay, so the big question, why Google? And why now? Let's dive into the strategy behind what is a truly game-changing decision. You know, for a company that prides itself on doing literally everything in-house, this is a massive, massive shift. It's really a rare admission from Apple that, hey, they've fallen behind in this AI race and they actually need a competitor's help to catch up. So why'd they pick Gemini over other heavy hitters like ChatGPT? Well, it really boils down to 4 key things. First off, Gemini consistently outperforms in really complex reasoning. Second, Google's infrastructure is already built to handle the insane scale of Apple's user base. We're talking billions of devices. Third, and this is absolutely crucial, Gemini's architecture actually lines up with Apple's super strict privacy standards. And finally, the deal isn't exclusive, which gives Apple some wiggle room down the road. Of course, anytime you hear Apple and Google in the same sentence, the first question is always about privacy. So how in the world is Apple planning to keep your data safe while using Google's AI? It's the question on everyone's mind, isn't it? The elephant in the room. And honestly, Apple has engineered a very, very clever solution to tackle this head-on. The secret sauce is something Apple is calling Private Cloud Compute, or PCC. Now, this isn't just any old cloud server. It's a custom-built system running on Apple's very own Baltra silicon. This special hardware lets them create what's called a stateless environment, which is just a fancy way of saying your request gets processed and then, poof, it's instantly forgotten. No data stored, no logs kept, period. So here's the play-by-play. First, your iPhone tries to handle your request right there on the device itself. If it's too complex, it sends an anonymized request, keyword anonymized, to Apple's private cloud. There, that server with no memory does its thing and sends the results securely right back to you. The main takeaway here? Google never, ever sees your personal data. And hey, you don't just have to take Apple's word for it. Major tech publications like The Verge have already reported on this whole setup, confirming that Apple specifically designed the system to make sure user data stays completely separate and, as they put it, walled off from Google. Okay, so with all the tech and privacy stuff handled, let's get to the fun part, the part that matters most. What can this new, supercharged Siri actually do for you? Honestly, the transformation is night and day. We're going from a simple little voice assistant to a true AI chatbot. Where the old Siri gave you a basic answer or just sent you to a website, the new Siri is going to give you comprehensive, direct answers.
Instead of just setting alarms, it'll be creating documents, even generating images. And maybe most importantly, it will finally have context, allowing for natural back and forth conversations that are deeply integrated into your apps. So what does that look like in the real world? Well, you'll be able to ask Siri to draft an email for you, create a whole document, or even generate an image just by asking. It's going to be able to analyze the content of your files and have this deep awareness of what's happening in your other apps, like mail and photos, making it a genuinely useful assistant. But look, this smarter Siri isn't just about making your iPhone better today. It's actually the foundational layer for Apple's entire AI future. And that future is built on this really cool concept called ambient AI. Just imagine technology that doesn't scream for your attention all the time. It just works quietly and seamlessly in the background to make your life easier. Think about your phone proactively suggesting a faster route to your next meeting because it saw the real-time traffic, all without you ever having to ask. That's the promise of ambient AI. A powerful, context-aware Siri is basically the brain that's needed to power the next generation of Apple hardware. We're talking about rumored devices like an Apple AI pen, a small, wearable gadget that would act as your proactive assistant all day long. Without this massive Siri overhaul, that kind of ambient, helpful device just isn't possible. So this really raises a huge question for all of us. Are we moving away from screens we have to constantly poke and swipe at and toward a future where our technology just anticipates our needs? Is this invisible, helpful AI the next big evolution in how we interact with the entire digital world? This whole Siri overhaul really proves that AI isn't just a fun novelty anymore. It's becoming a core utility in our lives. If you want to stay on the cutting edge of this AI revolution, make sure to like and share this explainer. And definitely subscribe for more daily AI news just like this. We'll see you tomorrow.
So the tech world
Then
just
there's
got
this, guys.
completely shaken up. A partnership just dropped that is going to fundamentally change the AI race, and it directly impacts the 2 billion Apple devices that so many of us have in our pockets. Let's break down exactly what this all means. Come on, we've all been there, right? For years, you ask Siri a question that's just a little bit complex, and it falls flat. It's been fantastic for setting a timer, but when you look at what's been happening in the rest of the AI world, Siri has felt like a tool from a totally different era.
While other assistants, powered by these incredible models from OpenAI and, yes, even Google itself, were getting super conversational and capable of some pretty complex reasoning, Siri was just falling further and further behind. And that gap? Well, it was getting way too big for Apple to just pretend it wasn't there.
But now, after all these years of us being frustrated, Apple has finally pulled the trigger on a massive overhaul. And I mean massive. This isn't just a fresh coat of paint or a minor update. We are talking about a full-on brain transplant for Siri.
And this is the real bombshell. The engine that's going to power this new supercharged Siri is coming from Google. That's right, Apple is turning to its #1 competitor to build the future of its AI.
All right, so let's really dig into the sheer scale of this alliance. Seriously, this is one of the biggest, most surprising tech deals we have seen in a long, long time, and the amount of money involved is just staggering. According to what reporters at Bloomberg are saying, Apple is paying Google about $1 billion. But get this, that's not for the whole deal. That's per year, just to get access to its Gemini AI technology.
And if you think that's a lot, hold on. The Financial Times is reporting that the total value of this multi-year deal could climb as high as $5 billion. This shows you it's not some small experiment. It's a huge long-term commitment that is completely redrawing the map of the AI world. And look, this isn't just rumors flying around. In a joint statement, the two companies actually confirmed it, saying that Apple's next-gen foundation models will be based on Google's Gemini. So, that leads to the really big question. Why?
Let's be real. Apple is famous for its walled garden, right? They build everything themselves in-house. They don't make a move like this unless their back is against the wall. And the simple truth is, they were losing the AI arms race and they needed a world-class fix like yesterday.
And the raw performance numbers from late 2025 probably tell the whole story. These evaluations showed Google's Gemini 3 Pro model had a huge advantage. It nearly doubled its competitor's score in abstract reasoning. And for solving brand new math problems, which is a massive test of real reasoning, it wasn't even a contest. This is the kind of horsepower Apple knew it needed for the next series. A deal this big didn't just happen overnight. Talks apparently started way back in the summer of 2025, details started to leak out in the fall, and then the official confirmation finally dropped in early 2026. It's all been leading up to a planned launch this spring. This was a very careful, very calculated move.
Okay, so this partnership immediately brings up the elephant in the room. How can Apple, the company that has built its entire brand on privacy, use Google's AI without just sending all of your personal data straight to Google? Well, the answer is in a really, really clever technical setup.
The easiest way to think about it is like a 3-layer system. Super simple requests, like asking it to set an alarm, happen right there on your iPhone. A little more complex, it goes to Apple's own special secure cloud. And only the most difficult tasks, the ones that need that world-class reasoning, only those get sent to the Gemini model. And here's the crucial part. It runs inside Apple's secure environment, not on Google's public servers.
And the magic behind this whole privacy promise is a tech Apple is calling private cloud compute. It's a stateless system. Basically, that means your question gets processed and then it just vanishes. No data gets stored, no profile of you is built over time, and your request can never be seen by engineers at Apple or Google. It's how Apple gets Google's brainpower without breaking that core privacy promise.
Okay, so we've covered the deal, the tech, the privacy. Now let's get to the part that really matters to all of us. What can the new Siri actually do for you? What's this going to be like?
We're expecting a massive jump in 4 key areas. First, real conversational ability. Second, the power to complete really complex tasks. Third, an awareness of what is literally on your screen. And fourth, a deep personal touch based on your habits.
So what does that actually look like day to day? Well, it means you could say something like, "Hey Siri, find the receipt from dinner last night, crop it to just show the total, and then email it to my accountant." And it'll just do all of that in one shot. Or it means if you're looking at a photo, you can just ask, "Who is this?" and Siri will know exactly what you're talking about. It's finally going to feel less like a clunky command tool and more like a true assistant.
A deal of this size doesn't just affect Apple and Google. It sends shockwaves, these huge ripples, through the entire tech industry. It creates a whole new competitive landscape with some very clear winners and some very clear losers.
I mean, for Google, this is just a monumental win. It basically validates Gemini as a top-tier AI platform, it brings in billions of dollars, and it puts their technology right in the heart of their biggest rival's world. But for OpenAI, this is a major blow. They were reportedly also in talks with Apple, so losing this huge Siri integration to Google has to be a pretty significant strategic defeat.
And that just leaves us with this one big, fascinating question for the future. Does this deal, where the ultimate walled garden company partners up with its biggest rival, does this signal a new, more pragmatic era for AI? An era where companies are willing to do whatever it takes to get the best tech to users, even if that means collaborating in ways we never ever thought were possible. Hey, if you found this breakdown valuable, do us a huge favor and share it with someone who needs to know.
What do you guys think about this new team up between Apple and Google Gemini? Think they're going to be harvesting your data, or do you think that it's going to stay on Apple's private cloud services like they claim? Let us know in the comments. It's definitely going to heat up during this new AI era of ambient AI, with basically AI on devices is what's going to be the new shift. With OpenAI coming out with their new device that they're teaming up with Johnny Ive to create, actually just kind of funny because he created a lot of the Apple devices. I wonder if Apple's kind of PO'd about that. Now they're having to figure out their own Apple device on their own. Well, we'll see what's happening in the future. Thank you for watching Useful AI Hacks. I hope you guys have a blessed day. We'll see you tomorrow.